What's going on, guys? My name is Johnny Bandon, and I am your CCNA instructor for this CCNA video series. In this section, we're diving right into CCNA and really what is networking, the whole reason we're watching this video series. So again, to go over our sections of the CCNA video course, the first section is going to be very slow. It's going to be very methodical because we're going to be going over the fundamentals. Not going to be too much labs other than me demonstrating this. And this is one of the most important sections, like all these sections are important. But the reason this one is important is because if you don't understand these fundamentals that we're going to teach you in these sections, jumping into configuring the edge ERP or SDN and controller-based networking is going to be really hard for you. So we got to get these fundamentals down first by drudging through these PowerPoints. And I'm going to try to make it a little bit of fun, but the important thing is that we learn the basics of networking, okay? So our very first instructional slide is, what is networking? So let's jump into it. So this is an all-encompassing term that refers to the design, management, maintenance, troubleshooting of network infrastructure, software, and policies. So really that first bullet there is true. I mean, networking is anybody or any role where your whole job is to keep data packets moving, keep the internet alive, right? Networking really started out, we go back to the 70s and 80s of the DARPANET, as a way for people to communicate across geographical distances and all the protocols and software and hardware involved in that transmission of data. Now it's evolved to this whole internetwork of computers and servers and Internet of Things and devices, right? But as network professionals, really nothing has changed. Our job is to either install infrastructure, maintain it, manage it, or troubleshoot it. And this enables the data that everyone is using to traverse the globe. So network professionals work in big industries like banking, finance, right? Kind of the same thing. Obviously in the tech world. They also work with ISPs, MSPs, anywhere where there is a strong need for a professional to learn about networking devices and the upkeep, maintenance, and installation, you find networking. And the big dog in networking, of course, is Cisco. And that's why this is the CCNA course and why this is still one of the most sought after certifications. So to bring this into a broader view, right? The internet is the largest network with over 5 billion daily users, right? And of course, as we keep progressing along in this life, it's only going to increase as technology spreads to every end of the earth. So networking in the enterprise. So why do I even have this slide? And what is the enterprise? The enterprise is your own company or organization's domain, their own systems. So if I work at Wells Fargo, shout out to their small business checking, all my computer systems, everything that touches data is part of that enterprise. A CCNA professional typically works in the enterprise, working within an organization's intranet, right? So these are key terms you have to know, not just for the CCNA, just for when you're working in the field, right? In the profession. When I say our enterprise network, I'm talking about on-premise or off-premise services, servers, and networking hardware and devices that we own as a company. When I talk about the internet, that's the World Wide Web where I have no control over it, right? The enterprise is your organization. And the enterprise can't be geographically diverse. So as we see in this image here, we have a main hub office and a couple spoke offices. So this could be Phoenix, Arizona. This could be New York. And this could be, let's say, across the pond in London. How do you abbreviate London? We're just going to write the whole thing out. This could still be all part of one enterprise. Even though it's traversing the internet, these network devices could have tunnels or VPNs that make it appear like they're connected directly to each other and only passing that enterprise traffic, okay? And not to get too off topic, right? Because, split tunneling, full tunneling, VPN tunnels. But anyways, So an organization will build its own infrastructure to host network resources that support the business operations. Now, you're going to notice in my CCNA video course, sometimes I do get a little off topic, unlike the other professionals on YouTube or other video series or trainers. It's important to remember that IT and networking is there for one purpose, and that is to enable the business operations. We are there to make sure that our companies are running smoothly, that the data is available and secure in some cases, right? As a network administrator, to support our profitability, okay, as an organization. So we host, maintain, install, troubleshoot, manage, whatever word you want to use, network resources in order to make that data available to our customers and our users. So a typical CCNA will start his or her career working on that network infrastructure in an enterprise. Again, that network infrastructure, I'm going to keep using that term, is going to contain hardware like switches, firewalls, routers, access points. What else? Phones. So we'll put VoIP there. Maybe some Cisco ICE, Identity Services Engine, right? Security technologies. So a typical CCNA is going to be working in the enterprise when they first start off. Now, again, I'm not here to say that that's how it is forever, but that's typical of what we see of our CCNAs. So let's go over the history of the internet. So the very beginnings of the internet started with something called ARPANET, which actually didn't use TCP/IP. It used something called NCP, which I can't remember the acronym right now. It's probably Network Control Protocol or something like that. And ARPANET was actually funded by the DoD by an organization called DARPA, which is still on the forefront of innovation and technology today. ARPANET started with a few universities geographically dispersed all across the country, California, the East Coast. I believe it was Stanford. If we look at that ARPANET map here, we could probably see some universities, right? I think that's Stanford right there. And they did this to share research with each other, right? They would have these big computer systems that was just there to share really files and information, right? In 1983, TCP finally replaced NCP and became the standard protocol that ARPANET used, which is still the standard of today. So a lot of these core technologies and fundamentals have been around for a while, and we've just been building on top of it, especially the security aspect and wireless. And now going this transformation of us having controller-based networking, right? And right here is something that I always like to tell all my classes and students. This is a map of IPv4. Since America or American organizations invented the internet, right, with help from all across, because universities have a bunch of foreign researchers, right? But since it was something that was invented in America, IPv4 is still widely used in the US. And as someone based in the US and teaching CCNA, along with a lot of other instructors, you're going to tend to see more of a bias towards IPv4, right? And we'll get into this more in the later sections. But it's important to note, since our organizations like DARPA invented the internet, a lot of organizations in America still own a lot of the IPv4 address space, especially our regional internet registers, okay, for North America. So your role, right? I think I've probably said this 1,000 times, but it is your role as a CCNA to ensure that critical infrastructure keeps us online. You make sure the internet stays on, right? Typical of a user, the internet's down. Of course, we all know that's not true. Our connection to all the other computers and servers in the world are down, or to our enterprise resources. But it's your job as that network administrator that when that happens, that user calls or that help desk elevates that ticket, you need to be able to maintain, troubleshoot, and manage network infrastructure. All right. So I want to thank you for viewing this video, guys, and stay tuned for our future videos where we really start to dive right into it. Thank you.